Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Welcome to Navtastic, a podcast by 8 seasons in a row. Mr. Fernandes and...
I'm Chris Jayawardena, I think.
Yeah, I certainly hope you are. And this is a review of To Tell the Truth, from season 6 of Laverne and Shirley, directed by Jack Winter, written by Al Eichmann, and I bet you got some facts about them, don't you, Chris, coming up?
Do indeed, yeah. Especially because Jack is, that's an interesting return from somebody from the distant past.
Dun dun dun. And here's what this episode is about, which, by the way, it's a very iconic episode. To say that before anything else, at least in the fandom, it's well loved.
Is it an iconic episode in the context of the iconic hat from the Watch Dogs protagonist, or iconic in the sense of like actually it's a really good episode?
Both. Both.
Okay.
Here's the episode is indeed about. Gathered in the girls' apartment on a rainy day, Rhonda encourages Laverne, Shirley, Lenny, Squiggy, Carmine, and Sunny to play Tell the Truth. The gang's honesty quickly results in raw nerves. While Lenny is left feeling stupid thanks to Rhonda's comment, Squiggy feels ugly thanks to Shirley. Shirley is called out for immaturity and know-it-all nature. Sunny for his cheapness, Carmine for his lack of ambition, Rhonda for her vanity, Laverne for her attitude, sloppiness, and looseness. While Carmine and Laverne have a heart-to-heart, Shirley tries to help Lenny feel smarter. Will the girls reconcile? What do you think about this episode?
I wish I liked it more.
I'm stunned that you don't like this episode a lot, because this is...
I enjoy it, but I don't know. It just... I don't know if it just strikes a certain nerve because I've known people like, Rhonda is the chaos master of this situation. But unlike a fable character that is disruptive for the point of, because her thinking is, oh, you're learning so much, you're growing, that's how you succeed at the game. The catch is that it doesn't feel like there's enough resolved, and that this chaos, which they really did not ask for, and that she really disrupted their world, there is no comeuppance for her.
Yeah.
And that rubbed me the wrong way. And we'll get deeper into it, but yeah, I really wish I liked this more, because there are a lot of things I like about it. The performances in particular are fantastic. This was a very well rehearsed, very naturalistic episode.
Yeah, Penny and Eddie are particularly really good in this episode. Cindy and Michael finally get a scene together, and they almost never get to act together. They almost never get paired up together.
Yeah,
you're gonna get an episode
unless there's feet involved.
Yeah. They get like 3 major scenes. It's the foot scene in You Push Me Too Far. It's this one, and they get a whole storyline in Perfidy and Blue in season 7. So that's a very rare moment where they actually get to spend time on screen together. For me, this one really suffers a little bit, only a little bit, not a lot, but it suffers from the fact that there's a whole scene that's been cut out of the final version of this episode where Rhonda and Sunny go to comfort Squiggy. And Rhonda gets to be vulnerable, and she gets to express herself. I'm going to bring up the script, because we do have access to the script thanks to a friend. And I'm going to excerpt little bits of it.
Yeah, I'm curious to take a look at it, because because that really felt like the big gaping hole in this episode. There was it's like it's the bite out of the sandwich that just arrived on your plate.
Yeah. They needed, and there is not only a scene where they talk to each other and they reconcile. There's also a final scene where everybody comes back together when the power goes out. And everybody has candles, and they light each other's candles.
Oh, that's right. I remember you telling me about that. That would have been the moment where I completely, everything kind of comes back. Because that's what feels weird, is that the fragments don't become whole again of the whole communal unit.
Yeah.
And that feels like that's what's missing here. Because essentially it's like the metaphorical bomb going off.
Yeah.
And then the separation into the two pockets become trying to put the pieces back together. Yeah. And we don't have the real reconciling, the real kind of deep emotional reconciling. And it's not that we can't make it funny. I mean, there are ways to make those types of moments funny and joyous, but it's a very Yeah, it's a weird balance of tone, to me.
Yeah. In the script, at the very end, everybody comes back in because there's actually a great moment. Okay, first I'll tell you about Lenny looking at Laverne and going, "Ooh, it's a good thing we stopped playing. Look what the next card was." And he hands a card to her, and she reads it and reads the phrase, "Who in this room would you like to be the mother of your child?" And she rips up the card.
Wow. Wow.
Squiggy gets to watch Rhonda walk by because everybody's coming back into the room, and he goes, "I just love to watch her bounce."
That's a good one.
Because she talks about the bounce being taken out of her hair thanks to the rain. And when the power goes off, Lenny goes, "My, isn't it nocturnal in here?"
See, that pays off
Yeah.
those elements that are being set up through the episode.
Yeah, exactly. And what happens is Shirley grabs candles and matches, and she lights a candle and walks over to Squiggy and apologizes to him. And then he walks to Carmine and lights Carmine's. Carmine walks over to Sonny, and then Sonny makes a joke about saving money on the electric bill. And then Sonny lights Laverne's candle, and he apologizes there. Now we can see our way to the refrigerator to get us a look with Pepsi. And she goes, "Would it be tactless if I shove this up your nose?" And she's kidding. She's kidding, and they kiss. And then they don't say how Lenny gets his candle lit, but I'm presuming Laverne lights Lenny's candle. And then Lenny walks over to Rhonda and lights Rhonda's candle. Rhonda, did you know the word light is a homonym? He asks her. She calls him smart. And
that is cute.
And then Shirley remarks that they're all friends again. And then Squid goes, "If I'm not too ugly in this light." And then they clink their candles together, and that's how it ends. That's a better ending than what we get.
That's a way better ending. Yeah, sorry to kind of jump towards the end of discussing this episode. Yeah, within the first 5 minutes here, but this was one of those ones like I said, I don't necessarily hate it, and I liked it more on the second watching, but it felt very meh or apathetic. I don't know. I was almost bored. This whole block of episodes was kind of a struggle to get through for me. And season 6 in general has had these sort of middling points where even though the material can be very good, and I will say, even for whenever I feel the material isn't strong, the performances are really spectacular here, but it just doesn't grab me.
Yeah. Which I think is interesting because this has a lot of the character stuff that you normally enjoy.
Oh, totally. And Idikman has done other shows that I really loved. He did Dating Game earlier this year, the Beatnik Show, Who's Papa? This is someone who definitely understands these characters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is going to be another split for us because I'm pretty sure I'm going to like this one better than you ended up liking this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, in any event, I love that the way they open this. The banter is really strong. And Carmine is instructed to compliment the person he hates most in the room. And without looking at Rhonda, he goes, "Rhonda, you get the best body I've ever seen in my life." And Laverne's like, "Say it again, Carmine."
The more of you I see, the more I like, and I know you the least. And Shirley's face is yeah, scandalous.
Yeah, ready to murder. Once again, they are dressing Michael McKean up like he's Mork. Lenny's shirt is very Mork-like. I'd call that Mork fashion.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I think his outfits are pretty cute for season 6 and season 7. I do miss the 50s fashion, but he could look worse. He will look worse later in the season. Series. So I will take this. I will take this look. I will accept this look.
I do love at the beginning how do we win? And my note is Rhonda wins. She always wins because that's the whole thing is that no matter how this turns out, she will be victorious because her whole point here is to find out their vulnerabilities and be able to exploit them.
Yeah.
Which is the reason why I think I also have a bit of issue with this is that the chord that it strikes even early on is that this is about control. This is very much about how you use not just the vulnerability of how you make someone feel ashamed of themselves, but also how we're not being honest to the people around us about what we like or don't like about them.
Yeah.
And we use that that becomes vulnerability, because then that can also be exploited as, yeah, but you're a blah, 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 or you feel this way. You shame somebody for feeling feeling badly about something.
I think it's interesting that we're seeing Rhonda as the chess master here. She does tend to do this before becoming, settling into the group and becoming an actual, quote unquote, friend of them. But I don't know if it's that she's just really into gossip and she wants gossip on the gang, or if she's like, just trying to figure out more about them. But or they're just trying to pass the time. To her, this is how you pass the time.
Right.
So,
Yeah. I would almost like this. I would love to have a window into a world. What are the kind of vapid, horrible Hollywood people that she has to deal with on a day-to-day basis?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna get more of that in season 7, because we will follow her on El Job, and we'll learn more about what she knows and who she is and how she feels about acting. But she does not know pleasant people, to be real.
Yeah, that definitely seems to be the case. But I will say that the fact that Shirley is never going to get to flossing in heaven is pretty unfortunate.
For sure. Also heartbreaking is Lenny being asked what he would do if he had 24 hours left to live. And he goes, 24 hours left to live? God, I'd kill myself.
Yep.
My only note here is baby.
Oh. Yeah.
My poor
you just want to hold him.
My poor Blorbo. My poor Blorbo.
I do love Squiggy's face during that question while he's thinking over that question, because Squiggy's like, how many tricks are you going to try to score with?
Yeah. Oh, the boys have great interplay in this particular scene. When Squiggy goes over and he gives Rhonda a great kiss, and Lenny's like, get all your kids, Squig!
Oh, that's good. Yep.
Use both lips!
Yeah, and then there's the whole, like, the pet name thing, doesn't like Angel Face, and don't exactly jump for joy when your father calls you Muffin. Yeah. It's like,
who's the little ragu?
Yeah. Who's a little ragu, huh? What? A moth gets burnt up in the flames?
And okay, so this is the last time we are going to see Ed Marinaro in Laverne and Shirley. This is his final episode. Sonny's absence is not explained, and it's never addressed. Laverne is just magically single in the next episode.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and in future episodes. So, he is gone. This is not what Gary Marshall had planned. This is not what anybody else in the production team had planned. This is not what ABC had planned. The plan was to keep Laverne and Sonny together, possibly to make them endgame, while Carmine and Shirley were also going to be endgame at that point in time. But what happened was Ed Marinaro got an offer to move to NBC and star in Hill Street Blues as Officer Joe Coffey. And he went to Gary Marshall going, look, I have this offer. It's really great. I really want to do it. It could be huge for me. And Gary being Gary, because as we know, as we will hear in season 8 with Michael, Gary was notoriously generous that way. So he let him out of his contract. He participated in the process of letting him out of his contract. And Marinaro left the show. He went to NBC. And we would last for 6 out of 7 seasons on Hill Street Blues, which were very critically acclaimed. He got a lot of critical acclaim for it, and for his performance. So in the end, it was a good move for him.
Yeah, given where Laverne and Shirley started heading over the next 2 years, that definitely was, from what I understand of what's coming, it seems like he made the right call. But it is, so that's unfortunate. I didn't realize this was the last one, and he just goes poof. I know he's not in the next one, because I've already seen the next one, but I'm shocked by that. And but that's the thing though, is like, there are times where people disappear. They just drop out of a production. They have to go. And that's kind of that happening midstream, mid-season. That's rough. That is brutal.
Yeah. And you can tell from this episode and everything else that this was not the plan. They had something entirely different ready to roll. And instead this happens. And it's not good. For anybody. Anybody except for Ed. It was great for Ed.
Yeah, it was fantastic for Ed.
Ed had something good happen.
Yep. And that's the thing is, for his sake, it's probably for the best, not just because he got to be on a successful show, but he didn't get to go down with this ship that
Yeah.
it's got holes in it. They just don't know it yet.
Yeah, nobody knows there are holes in it, but there are holes. Tragically sad little holes. And we'll explore them as we go.
Yep. But anyway, but to the episode itself, and I mean that's even the thing is, with how good Ed is on the show, it's really elucidated by how Carmine is incredibly crass and rude when he makes like so much light of the "Who would you trust with your last dollar?" And he goes, "Easy, easy, Sonny. He sure wouldn't spend it."
Yeah.
And it's the whole like that exchange between the two of them. Their kind of ego and machismo is like matched up against one another, which was it's kind of a relief to see because Ed's the kind of guy, because Ed, I can see being the kind of guy who had brothers, like older brothers. And, Carmine seemed, even though Carmine, I think, we've had the discussion, I think, about Carmine's relatives and that he may have had siblings, at the very least he's got cousins. But Sonny seems like he's got enough extended family, or at the very least siblings, that he had to fight for his place. And he knows not to budge when he's in the right.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice to see as a relief because I would say this is in some respects the one of the points where Carmine makes me go during this season, but it's also a case of where he also is the immovable force, unstoppable object thing, or really just two rocks getting smacked into each other.
Oh yeah, two tough guys trying to outmatch each other. It's like him fighting with Frank, which we'll get to see later as well in the series. In the end, though, we don't get much. We obviously don't get much more of that, and that's too bad.
Yeah,
it's really too bad. So technically, this doesn't mean that Sonny and Laverne broke up over an argument over milk and Pepsi. If we really think about it that way.
Yeah, probably. It probably had something to do with milk and Pepsi. And you know what it probably has is she got some advice from Papa. It's like if it's like I don't like milk and Pepsi, you like the milk and Pepsi. It's not for me, but but the thing is, but I love you anyway. And if you told me to drink a milk and Pepsi, I'd drink the milk and Pepsi. And if he can't drink the milk and Pepsi with you, then he's not the one for you, Muffin.
Yeah. I can see that talk happening actually. I can actually see that happening. I want it noted, by the way, that Sonny and Laverne start making out in the background in response to Squiggy and Rhonda's kiss.
Yeah, I spotted that on my second viewing. It's very cute.
I love it that
pretty
even happens.
smoking too, actually.
Yeah. I want it noted that in the original draft of this script, Lenny tells Laverne that there is a theater that he goes to called the Kitty Cat Theater that has no armrests for the seats. And then Laverne gets really excited and wants to take Sonny to it, and Sonny's not into it.
Yes, you too can have easy hand jobs.
I was going to say, yeah. I just love it when he's just blatantly going to porn theaters now in some version of this reality.
Oh yeah, totally.
Lost to the echoes of time. Lost to the echoes of time. Much like that whole Ruddy Betty storyline.
Yes. Now that being said, these would be sex film theaters, not porno theaters, because as I learned recently from Joe Bob Briggs, pornography as a definition did not really come around until the early 1970s when penetration was added to the mix. And that prior to 1970, the lack of penetration made it a sex film.
That's interesting because I'm pretty sure there are like black socks or white coaters that actually existed in the 60s where actual penetration happens, but I don't know. I can't speak to knowledge on that one.
I mean, like I said, I'm just repeating what Joe Bob Briggs said, and
Hey, I don't know either. I don't know either. I'm just trying to recall what I recall from doing research.
But anyway,
actually.
but back on track though. Squiggy's pretty darn ugly, isn't he? The Hunchback of Michigan State.
Poor guy. Yeah, he's not. He's not that ugly. Poor guy.
He's just not. He is not. It was so, and I feel so sorry for him that the cajoling and encouragement would backfired so badly because as we already established from Duke of Squigman, he could never think of it as him. He always feels he's in the right.
Yeah.
I do adore the exchange, and this is one thing to really call out is the dialogue in this episode is incredible throughout, especially the exchange of the Hunchback of Michigan State, Notre Dame. I know the dame who said it.
What do you know? You're stupid. Oh, God. And Laverne standing up for Lane. Nobody calls my friend Lenny stupid. You just called me stupid like a week ago. Yeah, but I know you.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
exactly.
that's very them. That's very her jumping in the breach. And also, Lenny's little smirk when Squiggy says, "How do you put paradise in one word?" After kissing Rhonda. I noticed that Michael has this one specific smirk that he does as Lenny. That I only recently noticed rewatching the show. He has this one specific that master gesture has him that he smirks more than I thought as Lenny. I thought that was
Yeah,
interesting.
because there's some characters he does smirk a lot. Like he does a
Yeah,
lot of smirking. I remember in he does a little bit of smirking in Clue. He does a lot in
yeah,
Airheads,
yeah,
and
yeah,
he
yeah,
doesn't do much as Fred in Short Circuit, which I thought was an
yeah.
interesting touch.
Yeah. Because he's looking for sincerity there. He smirks a lot in the Brady Bunch movie, which of course is perfect for that
Yeah.
character.
Oh yeah. Totally perfect. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
God. Yes.
he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He definitely
Yep.
knows
Yep.
what he's doing. He knows how to act.
Hmm.
Capital
They
letters.
all do. I mean,
Nobody gives him
this is
credit for
definitely a
it.
showcase of
Oh
all
yeah.
the actors on.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, like
Oh yeah.
Eddie gets to have big
Yeah.
moments.
Yeah.
Even big
Finally.
moments in the middle of the group too. Like
Yeah.
the socks and the bra thing, and
Yeah.
Carmine has to say, "That's a foul. That's a foul. I knew that."
Yeah. Actually, everybody should know that because Laverne screamed that out the window, and the boys heard it
True.
coming down to interrupt them arguing in the middle of the drive-through set. So everybody in the room except for Rhonda should know, and possibly Sonny.
Yeah. He also has that the bit the big one, the big mirror over your bed, over Rhonda's bed,
Yeah.
and
That's great.
that's a
Yeah.
favorite one, Carmine says,
Yeah.
and Shirley responds, "You better be guessing," and that
Yeah.
big shit-eating grin. And what I love
Yeah.
is it's a big enough grin that clearly shows he's not guilty of boinking Rhonda. That I
Yeah.
my note is new leaf for Ragusa, film at 11.
Yes, so terrific. My big note on this whole scene is banter in all
Yeah.
caps. Banter. The banter is so good. It's so high quality. It's so fabulous. Oh, the Carmine definitely knew about Shirley's socks because of
Yeah.
somewhere
Well,
in
you know, for
their
first
eye
base at least.
asphyxiating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they had to at least be second or third by now at this point.
Oh yeah, no,
There's no
totally.
home runs, but
Oh
everything
yeah,
else has happened.
there's clearly implications that third has happened for sure by this point.
Yeah, yeah. It's by season 7, you'll almost feel like a home run is possible at some point, or have happened. Laverne's songwriting continues apace. I'm so blue. How are you?
Yeah, goodness. Kind
He's
of
trying.
childish coming from a grown woman who throws tea parties for a stuffed cat. My note is, and we're off.
Yeah. She's Snow White, and you're the 7 disgusting dwarves. The putting in the face moment is so iconic that it ends up in the opening credits. I think in season 7, and stays there until
Yeah, it does. It
Cindy.
does. I had to rip a bunch of season 7 episodes, so
Yeah.
yep.
Yep. But that's a very iconic moment. So that fight is very iconic and
Hmm.
very well remembered among fans of the show.
Yeah, I do like my note here is, you girls are really good at this game. Are you sure you never played before? And Rhonda knows that the way to win at this is to be as monstrous as possible for her
Yeah.
enjoyment.
She is so wicked here, and the thing is that in the script, she shows some early vulnerability. We will get more vulnerable Rhonda, like I said, as time goes on.
Hmm.
But the trouble with the edit, at least the DVD edit that we have, or the syndication edit we have, is that it kind of robs her of depth,
Hmm.
and the script gives her depth. There's at least 2 scenes I would have put back in from the script in this episode.
Oh, certainly. Yeah. I also found it was like strangely indicative of Rhonda's own insecurities that she has to overcome by exploiting everyone else's.
Yeah, yeah,
Because, like I said, the first dungeon master slash game master I dealt with for a tabletop game, Lisa, you know the story is that, I mean, he basically tried to pit me and my then best friend against each other.
yeah.
And that was his thing. And he brought out a dark side in me that I'm still struggling to
Uncomfortable?
reconcile with to this day, like 10 years later. So
Yeah.
I think that's another reason this episode irks me in a way, is it brings back a weird, like almost like PTSD type response. It
Yeah.
brings back memories of that feeling of destabilization. Because because what I have trouble with an episode like this is when it destabilizes, but it's not done with a good, like, healthier resolution. And obviously in these types of situations, healthier resolutions can take time, which not only can the sitcom format, but even just in the space of one night, that can't necessarily all happen at once.
Yeah.
But because the fact this is the last time Sonny's going to be around, this isn't a two-parter, etc. It feels, I guess, because this is like the same problem I had with Date with Eraserhead. Date with Eraserhead was again like this bomb going off and completely obliterating our understanding of Carmine and Shirley and their emotional, their understanding, quote unquote, and then feeling the contradiction of all those sort of different elements. And so here it's that same sense of like confusion, destabilization, discomfort, etc. And yet it does, except for Lenny and Carmine and Laverne, I don't feel like, and for Shirley, for those four, you don't feel the overall resolution. And losing Rhonda as part of that resolution is also, well, here's the other thing. That makes it feel more like Rhonda really is the antagonist and is actually the villain of this story to me.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like how Shirley's mom, Lily Feeney, at least tries to discuss and talk out with her daughter how she perceives things. And here we don't get that. We don't get that honesty.
Yeah. I think it needs a resolution with between Ron and Squiggy, particularly. Squiggy not getting apologized to is also a big issue.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
So there is a scene in the script, the original version of the script, and in that script, and there is actually a scene where they go to Squiggy's, the boy's apartment, find Squiggy, and Ron says, "I can't believe Lenny and Squiggy actually live here. Yeah, and I hope they never move out. I could never have this place again." This is what Sonny says. Squiggy enters from the bathroom. He has a damp towel wrapped around his waist. And it's another. There are many episodes where Squiggy was supposed to be shirtless, and David Lander just never took his shirt off for this show. This is another example of that.
Do you think it had to do with him taking off the shirt and people think he's still wearing clothes, and that was meant to be the joke, and it just they felt like, oh, it was too mean, or it just got worked out of rehearsals or whatever?
Hey, furry men have feelings. Furry men deserve to be shirtless too.
It's true. They do.
Right.
I mean, I don't have that much body hair, but
Yeah.
But if I did, I
Yeah. I don't know why. It might have been a modesty issue. I know Michael's done enough nude scenes where he had no issue with someone taking the shirt off. They asked him. Well, he described the full, basically everything but the area nudity that he did in I think Sessions and in Dream On as liberating, in his exact words. So he said it was liberating to walk around without clothing on. So he would have done it, but they were all the scenes for Squiggy. There was no forthcoming nudity from that quarter of the show. Anyway, okay. So Squiggy says that his brain was in an uproar, so he took a shower, some cold water on the waist, and I'm cool as a daisy, he tells Rhonda. And then Sonny goes, "I thought you were supposed to put cold water on your wrist." And Squiggy says it's just a superstition, and that this is a medical fact. And then he tells Rhonda to cop a squat on Lenny's bed over there, which is a lazy boy. Which ends up not being in the final, being his bed, because we do have bunk beds in the boys' apartments, which you can see. "Oh, Squiggy, you make Lenny sleep in that chair? He loves it. His back's been orthopedicized. Then, listen, instead of the chair, maybe you'd live more comfortable on the bed, cuddling up with yours truly, me."
Wow.
And then Rhonda says, "No, the chair's fine." And "So you think I'm ugly too?" he sulks. And then Sonny defends Rhonda. And then Rhonda says Squiggy is as handsome as anybody. Squiggy, stay next to Sonny. And then she says, "You two could be twins."
Aww.
Oh, Sonny goes, "Oh, no, not twins." And then Squiggy goes, "Identical brothers." and then Rhonda goes, "Squiggy, you have big brown eyes just like Sonny, only yours are closer together. You notice helps if you see through narrow buildings," Squiggy says. Rhonda goes, "And look, Sonny has no spit curl at all." Sonny goes, "I've tried everything." Then Rhonda sits down and says that Squiggy is quite special. And Squiggy says she is too. And then he sits in her lap and cuddles up to her like a baby.
Okay, that's
And
kind
then
of
Sonny asks Rhonda if she's okay. And she goes, "So far."
Well, I was gonna say,
God,
if he's gonna sit in her lap like a baby, then she she could just instinctively start calling him Andrew, because that was a whole
yeah,
debate.
Andrew.
That's my baby name.
Andy and Andrew, his baby names. Yep, yep,
That's right.
yep, yep, yep. And then Squiggy goes, "Listen, Sonny boy, Lenny dropped a nickel down the drain pipe. If you fetch it, it's yours." And then Sonny goes, "So now you're calling me a cheapskate too. Look, I've been sometimes a little tight with the money. When I was a kid, we didn't have any. We had to live on what my gypsy mother," there becomes a gypsy mother again. "Live on what my gypsy mother made. I'm not saying this, for any other reason other than it's in the script.
We are quoting
Made telling
verbatim.
fortunes." And then nobody wants to know when they're going to die. And Squiggy goes, says he didn't know that, and then he asks Rhonda if this is a hook or a button. And then Sonny goes, "Maybe now I'm so careful with the money because I don't work that steady myself." And then Rhonda says she knows how Sonny feels. She's out of work a lot too. "I'd be cheap too if men didn't buy me everything." And then Sonny goes, "Thanks a lot, Rhonda. I appreciate what you're trying to say. Underlined trying to say." And then Squiggy goes, "Yeah, you're not half as stuck up as everyone says you are." "Everyone says that?" Rhonda asks. And Sonny goes, "Yeah, they do." And then Rhonda stands up, which knocks Squiggy from her lap. He picks himself up. "Well, everyone should realize that an actress without self-confidence is an actress without a job. I have to go into an audition thinking I'm the most beautiful, desirable, and there's one more thing. Oh yes, talented actress in the world. I'm just lucky it happens to be true. So now do you understand my problem?" And so then Squiggy looks at her and goes, "Can you repeat that question naked?" That is the end of the scene.
Yeah, that feels undercooked, so I can see if they felt it wasn't ready yet, why they chopped
Yeah,
it. But
yeah,
man, the bones are
yeah,
there to make that work.
yeah,
Oh man.
yeah. That just needs like maybe one or two adjustments, and it's perfect, and it's what it needs, and it's what we need honestly to have. But so Sunny can have closure, so Rhonda can have closure, so Squiggy can have closure.
Exactly.
But in the final version, we are denied this, so that is unfortunate. So now we come to the two scenes that actually are in the episode. These two scenes are here. What do you think about the Shirley and Lenny and the Carmine and Laverne scene?
So the Carmine and Laverne chemistry does work really well here. I even said this to you that it still feels more sibling family-ish,
Yeah,
especially the line, "You want to break into Shirley's diary," which also makes
yeah,
me wonder: did Laverne finally figure out the code?
possibly, possibly at this point. I think everybody knows the code at this
Yeah,
point.
but I mean, the work these two actors get to do is fantastic, and Eddie
Yeah,
in particular, just like he makes Carmine strangely likable when he's pathetic but trying anyway. Like it works incredibly well. I did take some issue with the bit which is supposed to get a laugh that actually got a laugh is his anger flies off the handle and she cowers and Laverne asks, "Are you gonna hit me?" It was like, no, please don't do
yeah,
that, please don't do that. But yeah, the scene is very good. I also what I really like is the message it had, which is that you got to go out there and do it. You can't just say, "I need my shot." You got to go out there and take it. You have to actually put the effort in. And what it also is interesting is that it again kind of comes to that interesting contradiction, as we've said, that, Carmine ran a dance studio for years. And the fact that we don't know what happened to the business, like it's basically written out
yeah,
as if it never happened, is
yeah,
unfortunate because
yeah.
what's interesting about that is, being somebody that is in a support position for others to be successful puts you in a
Hmm.
very interesting situation where are you successful or are you just the person that's a stepping stone for everyone else based on the place you've put yourself into?
Yeah.
Because as a freelance editor and cinematographer that has not succeeded as a filmmaker myself and wants to and feels heartbroken that I haven't. That's something that's crossed my mind more than once in the last 5-6 years. So, yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, it worked for me. That scene
Yeah.
generally worked for me.
Yeah. I thought it was really great. It was really honest, balls to the wall honest for me. And that's the kind of honesty that only Laverne can bring. And her realization that, oh yeah, sometimes I am a little tactless, sometimes I am a little prude. Then she wouldn't be her if she wasn't those things. And then Carmine's realization that he's kind of just like hovering, circling, and ever since he's been to LA, because he really moved there basically just to be with Shirley on what sounds like a whim.
Mm-hmm.
And then, on top of that, he moved out with no plans and no job lined up, so he ends up doing singing telegrams, which is the worst job. And then, this does a really good job explaining the whole situation as to why he did this, why he gave up such stability that he had in Milwaukee to be with them, and how he's going to grab that brass ring, otherwise he's going to be 40 and completely unsatisfied.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I loved everything about that. Everyone is growing up, and I'm emotional. Is my note about this scene. That's really how I feel.
What was your take on the Shirley Lenny scene? I'm curious about it because you're so protective of Lenny, and I'm curious your take.
Shirley is exuding pure mom energy here. She's really definitely momming him here. In that, she's trying to convince him that he is smart, he can learn things, he can do applied knowledge, but he just thinks he can't. And even though she gets a little frustrated with him, she's like, yeah, you can do this, I know you can do this. I think she's less cognizant of Lenny's streetwise ability to understand people. Because he's definitely a people person. He definitely knows people and he knows the human condition and understands it. But I think she's kind of cluing into that here. And there's a lot of really great stuff. And of course, him getting really sad and then hiding his head while kneeling on the couch is also very Mork. It's a very Mork gesture. I'm surprised that made the final thing, but it's also very cute. Very Lenny. He's very vulnerable here and very soft, which is very much a him thing at this point in canon. When we're never in Alabama, the way he talks Shirley up is really nice too.
Mm-hmm.
The way this kind of reveals that he does kind of look at her as a mom figure to kind of keep everything straight and keep them moving and keep everybody on point.
And I guess I like that acknowledgement because there's so many episodes, like in season 4 especially, that kept picking on Shirley for, being this, being a prude, being blah blah blah.
Yeah.
There have been so many episodes that do that, and here it's showing that she is responsible. Responsibility is good thing. Good thing.
Yes. And like she is the mom, she is the Wendy bird in a lot of ways. I may see the Laverne, Lenny, Wendy, Peter Pan parallel a lot, but she's the Wendy bird here. She's the mom, she's the seamstress, she helps keep everything together. And that's never clearer than it is in this episode. I love that as he's complimenting her, and she goes, "Well, we're never in Alabama." And he goes, "And we owe it all to you." It's adorable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of my favorite exchanges in the episode. Yeah.
What did you think of the chemistry between Michael and Cindy and between these two characters?
I appreciated that it was different. I appreciated that these were characters I was familiar with, acting like characters that I know, but they were connecting in a way I hadn't seen them do so before.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that.
Yeah. It's very new. It's a very new connection because they very, very rarely play them together.
Mm-hmm.
Like never. And I love that when she asks him, "Do you know what you did?" He goes, "No, but I'm sorry." And she said, "You use psychology on me." He goes, "I didn't mean to do that." It's like,
yeah. It's okay, honey. It's okay. It's fictional characters, hon. It's okay.
I know that, and you know that. We all know that.
I'm teasing you. It's what I do. It's what I do.
I know.
Just you wait. We're gonna probably have something happen with some Resident Evil franchise or something. And then you're gonna be the one to tell me the same thing. It's fictional characters, babe,
Maybe.
and it's like, yeah, I know.
They're not real.
But yeah, but his I guess that's what I also really do appreciate about the warmth of those moments. And that's why I get frustrated by the lack of like closure that doesn't click for me when I take the whole thing on its as its own, because these moments work so well. I was just saying that I didn't mean to, and the whole him looking up the words in the dictionary. I mean, it's just all those, again, setups that the script had paid off, and then they cut it.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I don't know why they cut those specific scenes, and I don't know actually if they exist in a syndicated print in the broadcast print, which they might. They're just not in the DVD version,
Yeah. Well,
and that's just annoying.
so hopefully someone out there will tell us, and something will happen, and maybe some deleted scenes will get. I don't know, but
Let
just
us know. Let us know. Let us know. Let
tell
us
us.
know.
Tell us or we'll break your legs. Wait, no, we won't. We don't even know where you. We don't know. We don't know you. Why would we do that?
We would rather not break our audience's legs. We need them to listen to us. Of course, they can listen to us with broken legs anyway.
Yeah, they can listen to us with broken legs. It's broken ears that we have to worry about.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, violence aside, so I wanted to talk a bit about behind the scenes because what's fascinating about the directing on this. So we already talked. This is Al Idikman, seventh episode of almost 13 episodes where he was credited as a writer, super active in the writing room. He has 4 more to go. Jumps into the executive script consultant pool up in season 7 and 8, all the way up to the conclusion, etc. But the director, Jack Winter. Do you remember him?
Yes, but we haven't seen him since season 1, have we?
So actually, as it turns out, I was incorrect. I would just double check my notes. He wrote 3 episodes for the second season, including Guinea Pigs and Drive, she said.
Guinea Pigs. Yes.
This is Jack's first directing gig on Laverne and Shirley with 4 more to go. This was after his stint on Serrata's Court, which I think we brought up back in season 2. And actually be some of the last work he was credited for. But he was also given a special thanks credit on Awakenings and a special advisor credit on Big. So he's still up to his tricks. Apparently, he's a script doctor. His directing, I wonder what his theater experience was. Because this feels like theater to me.
This I don't know. This I absolutely don't know.
I mean, who knows? Maybe he took theater classes at Harvard at the same time as the Unabomber. Because apparently he went to Harvard at the same time as the Unabomber.
Oh my goodness. Gracious me.
But
wow.
But I'd be very curious to hear, what his background was in that regard, because there is when it comes to directing actors like this, those warm, intimate moments, you either push your actors just in that direction, just kind of let them go, or they look at the material and say, okay, I want to grab a hold of this. But I also wonder how much of this, because you notice how, especially in so many parts of the big scenes in the beginning, the whole game itself being played, they have moments where they're relaxed. And getting actors to that point of feeling natural and relaxed in character takes work.
Yeah.
When I've watched, kind of the actors that I've worked with, they memorize the lines in a very rudimentary way, and you get to the point that the words become part of them, and so therefore they're able to sort of release it in a more natural way. They're able to just not, and release is the way, rather than saying it. Saying it is like an action to do a thing, but if you release the line, that's where you get lines like there's the bit when Sonny is asked, let's see, I have the note. Oh, what's a silly thing does the person on your right always do? And he looks towards Laverne, and Penny has this great line delivery of "better be careful," and while she's having her pudding, and that is like a chef's kiss level of just all the pieces coming together, and that is when you do need a director that's hands-on with the process. That's not something that can just be worked out by the actors. So I'd be very curious what that experience is.
Yeah, me too. Me too, because I honestly don't know. I don't know anything about his theatrical background. I don't know anything about how he learned how to direct as well as he did. This is a really nicely directed episode. The way he gets his shots, the way everyone is lined up, the way he arranges everybody is just A++ to me, at least to my eyes. And you just said, as a director, you noted.
One of the things that's a good point. Also, the way they're arranged, some directors would let them probably wander. Here, he brings them into the circle. He brings them into the point that it's like a little bubble, and the camera is the other side of the circle. So we, the audience, are brought into that space.
True. It's really good. It's just good. And considering we only get 2 different sets in this entire episode, and what he does with those 2 different sets.
Oh, yeah, just the shots of Eddie in the corner on the chair with the bear in his lap. God.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. Beautifully lit, beautifully edited, beautifully done.
But anyway, I don't really have any other notes from that. I mean, I guess the only thing, I mean, I got my notes. We'll wrap up with the ranking. But is there
Yeah.
anything else that you wanted to kind of call attention to? Anything you had any questions about? What have you?
Well, I was gonna say we should address the girls' scene where they finally reconcile and they realize that they're grown ups,
Mm,
that it's different, that it's different arguing now than it was when they were teenagers.
mm-hmm.
And they're kind of like learning, they love each other no matter what, no matter the flaws, no matter the issues. I thought that was really like beautiful in its way, even though Laverne offered, go ahead, punch me, and you'll feel better, which is very her. And then I was wondering why the heck Carmine and Lenny go upstairs to the girls' bedroom for absolutely no reason at all. They're being herded up there with no purpose
I mean,
whatsoever.
you're asking this question while there's an open suitcase with Shirley's clothes in it.
Like,
Sonny is going to basically be going up there just to keep Lenny from pulling all the panties out.
they did not most trap that lingerie drawer. Not this time.
But anyway,
Oh
yeah, that's a good
god.
question.
These Lavernes are mine.
He-
I killed him. I accidentally killed him.
no, you did. You did not. No, it's gonna take a little more than that to murder me. Oh, you should know that by now.
That's true.
But the only issue I have with the scene with the girls, as much as I'm glad they actually bring this to attention, it's a point about the deep fights that they've or it sort of almost minimizes all of the other mature resolutions they've had to their really serious arguments through the past.
Yeah. Yeah.
We really haven't seen them scuffle like they did in high school, like
Yeah.
season two, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. We will get to see them do that much more over in season 7. That's gonna happen more. But yeah, even then they are growing up. Our babies are getting older. They're starting to see. Oh yeah, we're heading towards our 30s. Here, we're changing. So
Yeah.
yeah, everybody's getting bigger, and for me, it's really emotionally satisfying. This scene, the whole thing's emotionally satisfying to me. But that's just
Well,
me. That's just
yeah.
me,
No,
bro.
I don't mean to say that you're,
No, no, no,
it's
no,
just,
no, no.
yeah. My feeling about it is just that
Yeah,
there's something missing. I just
yeah,
don't know exactly what it is, and I feel like I kind of know, and it's multiple somethings. I think after as I keep thinking about it, it just needs some sort of extra oomph that isn't present.
yeah,
I don't know if this is me being picky. It could be just I'm getting tired of the show. It could be, it could be any number of things. It could just be even I'm just not in the mood for this, um, but that's that is where I stand. But I'm glad that it works for you, and my understanding from what you've said is that it works well for a lot of people, and so this might be your mileage may vary, but if you're a fan of the show, it sounds like you'll get a lot
yeah,
out of it.
yeah, yeah. It's just one of those things where not everything is going to necessarily hit you on the head and go, oh. But for me, this one works, and it'll work less well for you. But yeah, in the end, we get that reconciliation. I really think we could have used those scenes from the script that got excised.
hmm So yeah, if that covers all the notes, I mean, what are we? I mean, I can say pretty much I'm just going with a flat 7. You know,
I'm going way higher. This is like a 9 for me. For
wow.
me, it's a 9. It desperately does need that resolution, which is why it's not 10 level. We definitely need the Squiggy resolution, the Rhonda resolution, the Sunny resolution that we get in the scripts. And even that last scene, we kind of need all that. On the other hand, there's so much good character work here. Lenny and Shirley level up, and this is permanent character change for Carmine. This is permanent character change for Laverne. So in the end, this is all important. In the end, this is all good. So that's why it's an important episode. And it's a funny episode, and it's one that's very memorable for most people. So I'm going higher than you.
Right on. Yeah, I just yeah. it's I don't know. I will stop talking because all I have to say is negative at
No,
this
no,
point
no.
because
Nah, you can be negative. You can be negative. It's important that
nah.
we have different feelings about
Well,
the
it's not even
show.
that. It's just a point of redundancy at
Yeah.
this stage. So, but
Hmm.
yeah, um, but yeah. I mean, it's worth checking out. I wonder if I had seen this at a different time in my life and a different time in our going through the show, this would have landed better for me or landed stronger. But whatever the case, it's good. It's better than some of the other ones we've done. Season 6 is one of the better ones for season 6 for sure. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. I may feel differently about this over time, but I'm just going to say that right now it's like it's all right, but eh. It's like if someone was saying I'm gonna get rid of this episode, I'd just be like, okay, fine, bye.
But different strokes for different strokes, different folks.
Yeah.
Everybody's gotta have different opinions.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so but that does that cover our differing opinions for today?
Yeah, I think so. I do believe
All
so.
right. All right. Cool. All right, and everybody out there, thank you again so much for joining us for Night After Night. And if you would like to know more, please find us at Night After Night Pod on Facebook, Tumblr, WordPress, Patreon, or YouTube, or Night After Night PC on Twitter, where you can get in touch with us more directly, join us for watch-alongs and things like that, and interact with this wonderful little small community that we've started to cultivate. And make sure that you're pretty awesome to each other and have yourself a great time. And remember that if you gotta tell the truth, be honest, but be warm. Be tactful. Sometimes people need to be hit on the head hard, but a lot of us are just struggling every day, man. Just be cool, man. Just be
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But by the way, Lisa, do you know what episode is coming up next?
Oh, I do. And it's a doozy. This one was infamously banned from Nick at Night and TV lands. It ended up coming back into the syndication roster when they moved to Lifetime, and it's been in there ever since. But this is the infamous episode where the girls go to a Hollywood party, get bombed on marijuana brownies, and end up accidentally getting married, nearly getting married, to a couple of British rock stars. This is I Do, I Do.
Oh, I do. With those rocking people from Liverpool. I wonder if we'll see Bobby Dylan or maybe Simon and Garfunkel.
May your love fit you like a glove, y'all.
Like a glove, glove, glove.
Glove, glove, glove. Shove, shove, shove.